Hello students, today I am going to I am going to start second poem, an elementary school classroom in a slum, written by Stephen Spender. So first of all, I want to tell you about the poem. So in an elementary school classroom in a slum, the poet has taken up the theme of the social injustice and class inequalities. He explains that the children in schools of slums don't have proper facilities of education. They become physically weak and remain ignorant. They cannot make any progress, so cannot prosper in life. He urges the well to do people to come forward and rise to the occasion to uplift these ignored children educationally and worldwidely. These children have an eagerness to progress and to walk on the path of prosperity. The poet urges the governors, teachers, inspectors, and visitors to help them. Yeah, these children get educated and bring them out of the windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. This slum school is of Tyrol, an Austrian alpine province. The poet thinks that the gap of the two words can be abridged if these unfortunate children are taken out of these dirty and unhygienic surroundings. For their mental and physical development, they must breathe in fresh and open air. So, now I am going to tell you the summary of this poem. Clear? So, the children in an elementary school of a slum have faces which are very different from those of other children. They are not exuberant and full of energy, far from gusty waves. Their faces are like weeds in a garden, like rootless weeds. They are rootless, unsure, and lack stability. Their hair is unkempt around their pale faces. The gusty waves symbolize the energy that is missing in these children. The poet expands on the theme of the miserable existence of the slum dwellers. Children, by listening out some of the typical children who can be found in these schools. First is the tall girl who is physically and emotionally exhausted. Her head hangs down in exhaustion. All life has been dragged from her body, dressed from her body, and saved, sapped from her body and sapped from her mind. The children are underdeveloped and live almost like rodents. Another child is a very sick and lean boy who has rat's eye, symbolizing that he is defensive and scared like a rodent. His prospect for survival, let alone success, seems bleak. The red eyes also refer to the searching eyes of the boy who appears to be looking for food and love. These children are underdeveloped. Some of them have inherited their diseased bones from their parents. This implies that diseased generations have been living in the slum. A child who is disfigured and trapped in a physically challenged body is another child attending the elementary school. The classroom are equally dim and pathetic. There is a child who is sweet and young, but his eyes live in a dream. This phrase has various interpretations. On one hand, it could mean that the boy wants to get out as he is bored and distracted, or that he is mentally challenged and lives in a world of dreams far removed from the dark reality of his present. The child's desire is to be playing with or watching squirrels playing in a hollow tree. The tree room is symbolic of the cramped holes in which the children live. The squirrel is contrast is free. The first stanza evokes pity and empathy, reflecting the pathetic and miserable existence of the slum children. There is despondence and pessimism in the first and second stanza, but hope and optimism in the last two stanzas. All the symbols of positivity mentioned in the second stanza. Example, the cloudless town, ballad, flowery, Tyrol's valley are far removed from the lives of the children. In fact, the children's future appears to be bleak, painted with fog and covered with a lead sky. Next, the poet questions the wisdom of exposing these children to Shakespeare and term it wicked because he talks of a world of kings and noblemen which is far removed from their mundane, dismal lives. Similarly, the map shows them a world which is not theirs. Therefore, it is a bad example, as it tempts the children with ideas of escape from their miserable world of lead skies to a sun-filled world and a love for life rather than an existence full of dread and disillusionment. According to the poet, it raises false hopes in the children, which is cruel. These false hopes encourage them to resort to illegal and criminal means to achieve the good things in life. In the third stanza, the poet talks about their slag heap, which represented several things. At one level, they refers to the waste left by the industries. Figuratively, it refers to these children who are like the waste or the unwanted section of society, and also to the slums in which they live and which are ugly, unwanted parts of a city or town. The phrase wearing spectacles of steel is a symbol of industrialization in which they are all doomed They wear spectacles with mended glass, which look like pieces of broken bottles on stone. Stones also reflect the expression on their faces. This image highlights their impoverished existence, which is restricted to the foggy slums. Foggy is symbolic of ignorance. Fate has charted out a bleak path as the future holds no promise for them. Their life is an endless fog till they die. The map of their future are already blotted with gloom and doom. The last stanza is full of optimism. There is a touch of magic in its wider connotations. It is an appeal to the governor, teacher, inspector, and visitors to transport the unfortunate children beyond the dark boundaries of today into the possibilities of tomorrow. Otherwise, these classrooms will become like tombs. Therefore, only if these people lend a helping hand can the lives of the children be magically released from bondage. It is an appeal to the eminent people to rescue the poor and oppressed from the tomb of class discrimination and to show them the beauty of the world. This map refers to the world of prosperity. Their windows refers to their slums. The children will be able to peep through windows only when the difference between the two worlds is bridged. The poet desperately wants the children to break out of these catacombs. They should come out to the green fields and breathe in the open air so that they can grow under unrestricted and liberated and be creative. The poet imagines the liberated children running on the gold sand, delving into books and exploring the realm of knowledge. The white leaves represents the printed world and the green leaves the natural world, which both contribute in educating a child. This will be truly liberating and lead to creativity. According to the poet, only those people create history whose language has the warmth of the sun. Example, who have clarity of vision, power of life, brightness, and hope. Thus, the poem ends on an optimistic note, symbolizing the freedom of the children from their death like existence through education and social transformation. In this poem, the poet used so many poetic devices like metaphor, simile, imagery, pun, symbol, and repetitions. So, my dear student, try to understand the summary of this poem. Then I will explain this poem to you. Till then, thank you.